Hi everyone, welcome to Comping and Introduction to Chord Soloing. This is the part 2 of a lesson series that takes the tune, right or wrong, and goes through it and talks about how we can use chord shapes and chord fragments to start beginning to comp in between the melodies, and then how we can use those in our solos and then in just full-on chord soloing. If you haven't seen the first video, check out the description below and there's a link into it. As well, if you'd like to follow along on PDF, I have PDFs of everything I cover with the standard notation and guitar tab as well, available for purchase in the description below for $15. And it's going to go through every part of this series broken into 4 parts. So where we left off last time was we got the melody down, and then we were looking at all of these big chord shapes that fall in between and within the melodies. Now we're going to kind of shrink those chord shapes into smaller grips. So the idea of this is that we're going to be like zeroing in on the thirds and sevenths of these chords. This is the DNA, as you'll hear people call, and as I like to say, of the chords. The DNA, these things kind of establish what this chord is, and that can be found in the thirds and sevenths of these chords. So a seventh chord is built on a 1, a third, a fifth, and a seventh. So we have to look at those and determine how that chord is built up with those notes. So I'm just going to go through all of the chords nice and slow for you to show you where those thirds and sevenths are, because this is going to be the kind of the premise for what we do further with this, but also if you're just not familiar with this kind of stuff, this is how chords resolve into one another, and you can really see it really nicely on the guitar. So our first chord was an E7 or an E9. We have an E, a G sharp, a D, and an F sharp. We're going to forget about the F sharp for now and just look at those first 3. If we break that down, we have E, G sharp, D. The E is the 1, the G sharp's the 3. Normally we'd have a B in there as the 5. The D is the 7th. So we have 1, 3, 5, 7. There's our third and our 7th. And we break it apart. So we can automatically take that little grip and use it in our melody. So if I go, and I'm at the A. Okay, so that's kind of the basis for that. Now if we look at the A7, the next chord in the melody, okay, we've got what I was saying last time was this grip. Now we have G, C sharp, E, and A. The G is the flat 7, the C sharp is the 3rd, the E is the 5, the A is the 1. So there it is, our 7th and our 3rd. It's just flipped, right? G is the 7th, C sharp is the 3rd. So check this out, it's the same grip going down. 3rd and 7th becomes 7th and 3rd. E7 to A7. So really easy, they just kind of resolve by half steps into each other. So we can put it together. Okay, and then I'm sure you're guessing, and I hope you're guessing, that the next one, the D7, is right here. It just goes down another half step. So we have F sharp and C, the 3rd of D7 and the flat 7 of D7. So we have this little chromatic right down. So if I put that in and I got okay, and then it's just to a normal G triad. Nothing too crazy about that. Now we go up to the B minor. That's our normal B minor chord. We've got A, D, F sharp, and B. Okay, so let's take a look at the flat 7th is A, the 3rd is D, F sharp is 5, B is 1. So it's just 7th and 7th on the 4th and 3rd string there. So, and that goes down to an E7, so we know we just have one little half step change. So make a mental note that minor 3rd and 7th, or 7th and 3rd, and if we're looking at it like this, moves down to that dominant by just a half step. Because what's happening is B minor is the 2, E7 is the 5, and that's going down to A minor. And then D7. So they're just resolving by little half steps. So we have okay, so all the way up to there we have E, A7, D7, G, B to E7, A minor, D7. Okay, and then that's all over A7. It's kind of hard to get something in there. You could go and back to D7 right there. But you don't have to play those comping every time. It's just an option. All right, so all together that's the first section of the song. So we have then it goes again. B7 right here, right? Just that fragment. So we've got A as the 7th, D sharp as the 3rd, then back to E. A7. Then you're out, okay? And there's not too much room to comp those kind of changes in there, but the changes for that would be B minor, E7, A minor, D7. Because all that's doing, we've talked about this before, and I've talked about this a lot in my other videos and monthly membership stuff, is that is a sub. Instead of just going 1, 5, 1, you're playing 3 minor, that subs for G, E7, A minor, D7. It's going 3, 6, 2, 5. Sometimes you'll hear it go 1, 6, 2, 5. They're all subs for one another. So any of them work, really. So that's going B minor, E7, A minor, D7, G. And you're back. Okay, so that's kind of the basic idea of finding those thirds and sevenths and just seeing how they move chromatically down when it comes to resolving. Now, what I kind of slipped in there, just so you kind of have more fun and kind of create more rhythmic interest, is moving those thirds and sevenths, those little chord fragments, up and down in half steps. And that makes it more interesting. So anytime you have this E7, you could approach it by a half step either way. So I'm going to play through the back half for you. So if I go, okay, so you're just kind of moving them back and forth in little ways, and then trying to come back into the melody there, and that's the idea of it. Now, a sneaky little thing you can start doing, and this really helps with kind of boosting your overall kind of knowledge of what's going on in these chords and ideas that play out in the lead playing. And I talk a lot about this in the monthly membership stuff. In that, if you have an E7, you also have a B minor, because only one note is different. So if we look at like a B minor chord and compare it to an E7 9 chord, just a colored way of playing E7, that note is only changing, right? So if I play B minor, only one note, right, in that little chord. So you can start playing the minor into the 5. So that's the 2 minor, 5, and that would resolve down to the 1. So I'm going to put that idea on all of those chord groups that are like that. So B minor to E7, A minor to D7. That's where I'm going to put it. So I'll play the first part of the song. Normal A7, A minor D7. Then it's already built in right here, and right here, and then we'll add it. Then you're back, okay? So that's kind of just another little idea of spicing up those chord grips, and also just bringing the minor and the seventh together, because they're really not different. You can, just depends on which note you want to target, either the flat seventh of the minor or the third of the E7. You get two different sounds, right? Or just color of B minor. Okay. The last thing you can do is the same thing for this kind of chord grip. If this is your A7, your 2 minor is the E minor 7. So a basic E minor chord is right here. We have G, D, E, and B. So the third is the G, the seventh is the D. So check this out. You have that moving down to A7. One note difference like the others. The flat 7 moves down to the third of the 7th chord. So E minor, A7. And then that works for here on the B7. We have F sharp minor, B7. So I'm going to play it all once more, and I'm going to use all those different little ideas so you can hear how they come in. All right, 1, 2, 1. Yeah. Okay, so have fun messing around with that. Use some of those ideas, and then what we'll start talking about next week is adding one more note to those little grips and seeing where we can go from there. Y'all have fun with it? Check the link in the description below for the PDF as well as the previous video, and if you're interested in the monthly membership stuff. And we'll see you next time.